everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Benderas. You already know my name. And just a quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. So, on today's episode, by the way, before I start, thank you for all the support, thank you for all the emails. A lot of people have reached out and I like it. We've been getting more likes on the page and on the community, so I like that. Let's make this movement grow. And I can't do it without you guys, so I am extremely grateful for the opportunity to share all of this with you guys, especially this dream of mine. But like I was gonna say, let's get into today's episode. I'm actually excited about this because this is something that I have realized. One of the questions, the thing that I want to start with is asking you guys this question: who or what made you feel a certain way? And this is gonna go back all the way to your childhood. The reason why I say this is because the other day I was listening to a psychologist. Unfortunately, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Dr. Shefali, it was somebody else. And this person, or this psychologist, was saying that our childhood shaped us more than we know. Like, if somebody says something to you when you were a child, when you're in the developing stages, or something happened to you that made you feel a certain way, that's actually gonna shape you. And I was like, how is that going to shape me? Like, what exactly happened that is going to shape me in a certain way? And I started remembering, or I started thinking, is what, I guess I had to ask myself, what did I think about my childhood that shaped me in a bad way? Besides everything that I have talked about, like on the blog or things like that. So I was like, there must be something that actually shaped me to the way that I am. And I found this story in my memory. And this is why I like to ask the right questions. That's why I came up with that episode about asking the right questions. Because I asked myself, how come I'm like this? And in this situation where I wanted to look for is how come I'm attached to material things. Like, I'm attached in a way that I want to keep everything perfect. If something gets moved out of place, or if something gets dirty, I get mad, or I used to get mad, or if I lose it, I literally get extremely mad, or I used to get mad. So I had to dig in deep, very, very deep within myself, and I found this memory. And the reason why I'm like that, I like to keep everything pristine, this is mine, I don't want to share it, I don't want to do anything, leave it, don't move it, it's mine. Literally, that's how I was very attached to material things. And the reason why that happened is because when I was a child, I would say I was 3 or 4 years old, or maybe less, I really don't remember, but I was very young. I used to have a baby bottle. I used to take my baby bottle with me. So I probably was 2 or 3 years old, or maybe less. Like I said, I don't really remember. But what I do remember is that I remember that my mom wanted me to get rid of the baby bottle, but I was like, no, this is mine. I used to love the baby bottle. And what happened in this particular instance is that we went to a pizza restaurant. And it was actually Pizza Hut. Back in the day in Mexico, they had the restaurants where you were able to dine in and whatever, So we went into the dining restaurant, the Pizza Hut. We eat, and I don't know if it was my fault, I forgot my baby bottle, or my mom left it or something, but I lost my baby bottle. I lost it. I literally lost it. I cried. I remember crying. I was like, I want to get it back. I want to get it back. My mom, she messed up real bad. Well, I mean, that was freaking messed up. That was freaking messed up because we were in the car. I remember this. We were in the car. I was like, we should go back. We should go back. I want my baby bottle. And she said this to me. She said, okay, well, call them and they don't have it. This is before cell phones. Before we were able to afford cell phones, okay? So she never called. And I remember seeing the restaurant as we were leaving. And I was like, my baby bottle. And my mom said to me, is like, well, this is all your fault. If you don't take care of your things, you're gonna lose them. So that particular feeling was a feeling of like, oh crap, I need to take care of my things. I don't want to have this feeling where I lose my stuff, like it's mine, especially something that means something for you. Like, for example, I bought, let's say, like a Captain America statue, and it cost a few $100. And this is just an example. I don't have the statue, and I lost it when I moved, so I will feel bad. But that particular feeling will be created from that particular scenario in my life where I lost my baby bottle. So for the longest 33 years, I never realized that I was so attached to things. I always wanted to keep all my things nice and in order because I was afraid of losing them because of that particular feeling that I had when I lost my baby bottle. So that's why I'm talking about this, because a lot of people right now, we have all these feelings, we have this range of emotions and feelings, like this cascade of emotions on our head and on our body, because it affects our body as well. Where I can tell you this example right now, sometimes as Spoonies, you might feel like being sick is not an option for you. And here's what I found out from somebody that I was talking to about the other day. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like, how come you're kind of ashamed of feeling ill? And what the person said to me is that her parents will make her feel, back in the day when she was younger, they will say, like, anybody that is calling themselves sick, or in this case, let's say a Spoonie, and they don't have like a physical impairment that they can see, it's fake. Like, they're faking it. So my friend, the person that I was talking to, said, like, I can't be seen as a person that is sick because I feel ashamed due to my parents pretty much saying that if you don't have a physical impairment that can be seen, you're faking it. So she's all like, oh, I have to do this even though my body's hurting me, even though like I'm gonna cry the next day. I have to do it because I don't want to feel like I'm faking it. And I told her, like, listen, this is perfect for you to understand that the way that you've been wired, the things that you've been told are making you feel a certain way. But just because your parents told you that if you're sick and you don't have a physical impairment that can be seen, or something that can be seen, then you're faking it, then that's completely wrong. That's why I have said in the past that this is the time to actually start all over again, because we have to rewire ourselves. Literally, we have to start from a blank slate. When I found that memory about my baby bottle, I was like, holy crap, I'm still being all of these feelings that sometimes I feel when something happened, it comes from my childhood. And I have talked about this. Gabor Mate, who is, I think, a psychologist. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly what he is right now. I'm pretty sure he's a psychologist. He says that a lot of our trauma comes from childhood. But what I'm finding in this type of situations is that it doesn't have to be traumatic per se. It's the experience, the feeling that we get from that particular experience. Like in my case, it was losing my baby bottle. I feel very bad. Like, now I have to protect everything that's mine. But I was like, that makes me look so selfish. Like, I'm like so freak. It makes me look so like I only care about material things, but I don't care about material things. It's just that I didn't want to feel this feeling again of losing something and being like a little kid losing the baby bottle and be like, and literally crying and having your mom tell you a lie saying like, oh, I called, but they don't have it anymore. So with these stories that I have shared, one of the things that I would recommend you to ask yourself is, how come I feel like this sometimes? Like, for example, you feel ashamed of saying that you're a spoonie, or you feel ashamed of telling that you have fibromyalgia, whatever you're facing, or you feel angry for a particular reason. Like if somebody says something to you, you feel angry. There's a trigger. That's a trigger. There's a reason why. And most likely something or someone in your past made you feel a certain way about that particular word or about that particular experience, or something brings you memories about a particular experience, or a particular memory that has a feeling attached to it. In my case, when I lost my baby bottle, it was like almost like feeling shame, almost like angry, sadness. That's why I can attach it to. So in this type of situations, most of the times, especially with spoonies, we don't want to tell our story. We don't want to say that we're sick. We want to show that we are not sick. So in my experience, and seeing it from my wife and from other people that I have talked to, sometimes somebody in our past might have said like, oh, that person is faking it. Like if I don't see it, that person is faking it. Or that illness doesn't exist. Like for example, doctors, sometimes they have said fibromyalgia doesn't exist. It's like, okay, where did you get that? When I question them, at least, it's like, where did you get that? It's like, oh, I just know because I'm a doctor. It's like, okay, you're close-minded. I'm not going to believe anything you say. I'm going to get a different doctor. And they get mad. But why? Because they only believe one thing. They don't want to expand their view. And that's the issue that we're having right now as spoonies, is that we don't realize that everything we feel, everything we experience, everything that we had experienced in the past from childhood to now, it's pretty much stored in our memory. So for example, like another good example, my mom was swearing at me a lot growing up. So when I got to meet my wife, one of the things that will happen is that if she will say something that, or in a certain way, I will snap. Why? Because my mom will do that. So I was always in fighting mode. So I was like, ready. And that's because of the feeling that I had from my mom. So I had to realize that my wife is not my mom. So I had to calm down and I have to understand that. So this happens a lot. So the way that you feel comes from a trigger in the past. And what I'm trying to say is that you have to dig deep. This is why I always say, like, you have to dig deep. This memory that I found about my baby bottle, it literally took me weeks to find out. When I realized that I'm attached to material things, I was like, why? Why does it feel like I'm sad if I lose it or if it breaks or something? Like, why? And then I found that, or not why, but it's like, how come I feel like this? Because why, remember, it's a negative question. You have to ask how come, and what can I do? Or what is what and how? Those are the two good questions that help you uncover yourself. At least for me. You can try it either way. So that's what helped me in this situation, that to understand, like, oh crap, this person, like Gabor Mate or whoever said that our childhood shape us all the way to adulthood is right. So we have to, in order for us to be able to live a good life, especially if you're a spoonie, like I said, this is for anybody. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If it's just depression, if it's just anxiety, if it's something like fibromyalgia or something major that you're going through, if you have a particular feeling about your situation or about something that happens to you, or about something you see, probably comes from the past. Like somebody must have said something about a similar situation or a similar thing that you're experiencing right now, and you attach it to that. It's like, for like, one of the things that I see with my wife is that her parents Even though they're old and they're sick and they have to literally take a rest, they don't take a rest. They can't stand still. So my wife feels ashamed because she's so like, oh, my parents have been working all their life. How come I can't? But if you do that, if you keep comparing yourself to others, or in this case, to whatever feeling you're trying to, whatever you're feeling is like, oh, I feel ashamed because this person can and I can't, but this person is not as sick as I am, then you're going to end up hurting yourself. You're going to end up hurting yourself. It can cause depression. It can cause more anxiety because you won't be able to keep up. So, what my question for you in this case is, who or what made you feel a certain way? Or who or what made you feel that way? It could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be anxious, it could be whatever you feel. Ask yourself that question. How come I feel that way? Or what or who made me feel that way at one point in my life? Once you find that answer, you're going to be able to move on from that feeling. You're going to be able to understand why. And then, at least for how it worked for me, is that I was able to understand why I feel like that. And it's like, does it matter now that I'm an adult? No. So it's like, it's material things. Unless it has a sentimental value, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter if it gets broken or if it gets lost. I mean, I will still take care of it, but not to that extent that I was before, almost like obsessive. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. I'm getting more and more information from you guys' emails and from everything that I'm researching. So the episodes are gonna get more in depth. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, and please don't forget to subscribe, to share, like, and comment. Obviously, if you want to share your story anonymously, you can send it to me at the Caregiver and Spoonie@gmail.com. And I also leave you with this: always take care of yourself.